As per usual, Prehistoric Kingdom goes above and beyond. They've just announced breeding is in the next update. In this video, I'm taking you through the dev diary that is all about the amazing, detailed work they put into this new feature, and some fantastic surprises as well. Surprise they start out with, and it certainly is a surprise that they are adding this to the very next update coming to the game. And it's coming very soon, but first, I want to highlight what they're highlighting first and foremost as well, is that you can get Prehistoric Kingdom on sale right now on Steam, and I highly recommend that you do if you haven't already, because as we're going to be talking about in this video, they're about to step up the game literally in a very big way. Or I guess, literally speaking, in a small way. In the previous update, they added baby dinosaurs and the whole ontogeny system that they have for them with the seamless growth and all of that amazing stuff. And obviously, the reaction to that was pretty big, pretty excited, from my part at least. And they've certainly noticed the excitement from the community for the baby feature, so they decided to expand the next update with an expansion, an evolution of the whole like family dynamic aspect of the game, which is to actually also add breeding, because right now babies can only be made in the hatchery, but in the next update life is going to find a way and our dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures are going to be breeding in the park. Because they're adding this massive feature to the next update, the update is a little bit delayed, but honestly not by much. It is coming out in late August, so that's something to look forward to. The information in the dev diary is from the perspective of their challenge mode feature. So, you know, in Sandbox, you're going to be able to mess with all of this stuff freely. But, you know, the mechanics behind it from a management aspect in the challenge mode version of the game is what we're going to be talking about. So in Prehistoric Kingdom, breeding becomes viable once the player has unlocked male animals through research. And then you are able to have your animals breed in your park. And as said, there are many factors that must be considered. First of which being fertility. Fertility is a new value that determines the maximum amount of offspring an animal can have. In order to get animals with high fertility, players will need to adjust the growth speed and maturity of their creatures in the animal nursery. The slower an animal grows and the younger it is, the higher its fertility will be upon reaching adulthood. In Prehistoric Kingdom, you have the option to hatch an animal as an adult, or you can have the option to hatch it at any earlier point in life. And what this mechanic does is, the younger you hatch your animal, so the longer you actively take care of it in your park, the more that's going to benefit its fertility. Whereas if you hatch an animal as an adult, you know, a fully formed, ready-made adult, then it's going to have a little lower fertility, kind of punishing you for not putting in the time and effort. What I absolutely love that they are introducing are breeding seasons. So it's not just going to be a case where breeding takes place constantly. There's going to be certain periods of time where different animals are going to be fertile and are going to be reproducing, and that varies from species to species, so it's not all going to be at once, and that's going to be really interesting to balance and to keep track of. During their breeding season, adult animals have a chance to partake in courtship. While this process can be simple for many species, others, such as Lianolosaura, have a unique dance move performed by males. Courtship attempts can be accepted or rejected by females, leading to either a positive or negative encounter. Look at this guy putting on a show for the ladies. That's just irresistible. Shake your tail feather, buddy. Something that you're gonna need in your parks to enable the breeding of your animals are nests. So if you don't place down the material for the nest, they call it nest modules, I think. Yeah, nest modules or birthing bed modules for the mammals in the game. If you don't place this down, then your animals won't breed at all. So this is kind of like your birth control within your park. And what the animals will do is, if they have bred and they are ready to produce eggs, then they will turn these modules into nests, and specifically nests that are fitting for their species. So there's going to be several different nest types that are inspired by, you know, paleo findings. So yeah, it's going to be accurate for the species. After a successful courtship, the female will seek out a nesting module to claim as her own. Once claimed, she will physically dig up the nest or birthing bed, changing its features in real time. Nests in particular can be built up into craters or mounds, while birthing beds have dried grass and leaf litter. Players can also select what species are allowed to use a nest or birthing bed before they're claimed. This makes it easy to have separate nesting areas for animals that share the same habitat. Once a nest has been fully built up, eggs will appear. Each egg now has a health bar and must be tended to by parents or, in the future, vets. Vets is a staff type that will be added in a later update. If the parents spend too much time away finding food or water, the egg health will drop, gradually killing the eggs one at a time. After the incubation period has ended, baby dinosaurs will finally hatch at the nesting sites. So this way you can see that how you, as a park manager, play a role in this process. You know, you are in charge of where the nesting module is placed within the habitat, and that's what the dinosaur or animal will use to create their nest or birthing bed. If you place that module too far away from a water source or a food source, you're gonna see trouble with your egg health, and it's gonna lose you animals. Nests and birthing beds will return to their original dirt-like state a short time after all the babies have been born, allowing new parents to claim the module, so you don't have to keep switching that out. In the dev diary, they go through a couple of frequently asked questions, or I guess in this case, questions that they foresee to be frequently asked. So for example, why did they go with placeable nests and birthing beds, as opposed to just letting the dinosaurs make their own nests without any input from us. And the reason for that is, first and foremost, a little bit of birth control or population management, but also they were concerned that the AI of the dinosaurs or animals might place a nest in a location that's gonna get in the way of them, you know, moving freely throughout your habitat. Let's say you have a narrow part of the habitat. If they're gonna place a nest there, then they can't freely maneuver around that anymore. What happens when animals with two different skins breed? Well, then each baby will be assigned a random skin from their mother or father. I'm skipping over some of the questions. You can read them for yourself if you want by pausing the video. I'm focusing on the ones that I think are most interesting. For example, how do I prevent overpopulation? Species will naturally stop breeding once they go over a certain level of overcrowding in a habitat. And you can also, you know, intervene by deleting nest modules so your animals won't be able to breed anymore. When I say Prehistoric Kingdom goes above and beyond, I mean it. And this shouldn't surprise you at this point anyway, but they really do keep raising that bar. And one of the examples, I think at least, in which they are raising the bar and going above and beyond is by introducing all of these different egg types, egg shapes, egg colorations, which adds variety to the nest, but is obviously also a reflection of accurateness for a specific species. That is all on breeding so far in this dev diary, but of course subscribe to the channel if you want to stay on top of the news and if you want to explore this update with me once it comes out again in late August. But some other stuff that's also to be excited about is the baby Gallimimus looking painfully adorable. I mean, look at this little guy. He's amazing. And then, of course, again, what they did with the previous update when they introduced babies is the seamless growth, right? So this is an accelerated version of that, but yeah, we can watch it grow up over time into the adult animals. They've made some changes to the grass textures. They've also done some amazing work with Mesozoic accurate plant life if you want to recreate that. So there's some examples of that here as well. Looking so impressive. This game is absolutely stunning. But there's something that I want to highlight that just blew my mind with how clever it was. And that is this thing at the very end, which is a new type of foliage brush specifically for bodies of water. So what this foliage brush does is automatically place plants at the surface of the water. So, you know, your water lilies and stuff like that. You don't have to meticulously, manually place those at like the perfect surface level. The game just does that for you automatically. And I think that is a huge help. They're also adding a new species very appropriate for this update, which is they are adding the oviraptor, which is of course famous, having been named for an egg thief. And I think this is a very, very clever species to tie to this specific update, and I can't wait to see this species in game, and also what they're gonna do with its egg thieving behaviors. That officially wraps up this dev diary. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy staying up to date with this game, give the video a like and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.